Commission to order. Commissioner Sutton, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. First on the agenda, we got Marcia Erickson and Kelly Weaver with the Grow South Dakota program update.
Good
Hey, good morning.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Brenda came, Brenda Woggy in place of Kelly Weaver.
Sounds good.
So, thank you for seeing us this morning. I am the CEO at Grow South Dakota, Marcia Erickson, and this is Brenda Woggy. She's a loan officer based here in Aberdeen. We do have 4 staff right here in Aberdeen. We have Carla Burns, Kelly Weaver, Brenda, and Pat Gallagher. And we also employ interns throughout the year that are based out of the Aberdeen office. And we had 3 this past year that helped primarily with the Big Idea contest. Just to give you a little background on our organization, we do community housing and economic development across the state, and we do serve about 10,000 individuals on an annual basis. Many of them are low income, but not entirely low income. Some of our business loan and housing loan programs can be directed to underbanked or underserved. And with that, I'm just going to pass around our activities that we've had. There's 2 sheets, if you just want to grab the first 2 and pass it on. Some of the activities we've had in Brown County this past year, to 1, let you know what we're doing in your county, and 2, if you have referrals for individuals, we certainly appreciate any referrals that you may have that could benefit from the program underneath our umbrella. We have 3 organizations, but we're all doing business as Grow South Dakota, so this is an accumulative of the 3 organizations. If you look at the left-hand side chart there at the top, in Brown County this past year, we've served 331 households, and the chart to the right just equates that to people. 513 people in Brown County have benefited. Back at the very first chart on the top left-hand side, I'll just brief some of the highlights and the more impactful programs. The DP assistance is down payment assistance, and we've assisted 95 households in Brown County with down payment assistance. Housing lending, our housing loan program, 28 individuals have received loans for housing. The Governor's House, we've placed 11 Governor's homes in Brown County this past year. Business lending, jumping over to the 47, we have 47 business loans on our books in Brown County. The Small Business Development Center that Kelly Weaver and Carla head up here in Brown County have assisted 103 households. And the Weatherization Program, which in Furnace is a low-income based program, 22 individuals. And the Big Idea contest is youth entrepreneurship, where they submit ideas and go before a panel of judges. 35 youth have participated in that program this past year. And then if you bounce down to the lower right-hand corner, our investment in the past year has been $8.2 million that we've invested in Brown County. And I'll probably start at the top there and just go around the graph. $214,000 is our down payment assistance. The $490,000, nearly $500,000 is housing lending that's on our books. The $541,000 is Governor's homes. $84,000 is our home improvement, which that is, again, designated toward low-income households. Our business lending, we have $3.2 million on our books, and that is a substantial piece of our entire business lending package. A great portion of our loans are right here in Brown County. Small Business Development Center has helped leverage $3.5 million in business activity, and our Weatherization Furnace Replacement Program has invested $54,000 in Brown County. Now let's skip to the left-hand side and look at our board directors that represent your county.
While you're still on that chart, what is that property taxes?
That was a house that we ended up repossessing through our Brown County. It was a family situation, so they basically gave us the house back, and so we paid the property taxes in the interim. Yes. Thank you. Okay, switching back to the left-hand lower corner, board members that represent Brown County are Jody Zuger. She is the director of the Aberdeen Housing Authority, Terry Flambeau and Beth Smith, and on our advisory committees are Daryl Yackley and Rod Boberg. Like I said, we have the staff here in Brown County. I also commute from Day County. I live in Day County, but I spend about 1 day a week here. In addition to that, we have our regional roundtables here where we invite economic development groups in. That takes place in Aberdeen. We had our 50th anniversary gala here, and we have our monthly board meetings in Brown County. So we do a lot of our activity here. Last year, as part of our 50th anniversary gala, board members and staff provided $50 pay-it-forwards to charity groups of their choice, and 350 groups were chosen right here in Aberdeen for the pay-it-forward initiative. We also have the Navigator program. That's Carla Burns. She helps with enrollment in the healthcare marketplace. That's available, and it is still available through 2017 at this point. So stay tuned on that one. One thing that we've started that is new is the Makers Aging program, and we are having a conference on June 14th right here in Aberdeen, and that second blue sheet also represents our work there. What we're trying to start underneath this program is making communities more aware of what they can do to make their towns more age-friendly, whether that's services, whether it's housing, whether it's jobs. We have a great network of speakers coming in on that date, and we invite you, and if you would also invite others to join us. RSVP is not required, but we would like your representation at that meeting. I think it'll be a great discussion. Some of the experts that are coming in actually have been doing services under the age-friendly grants in the past. So I think that's great as our populations are tending to age in the area with the baby boomers. We need to look and focus on what we can do better in that area. There's also a survey on the little business card that's attached to the blue sheet. 5-question survey. If you'll go in and take it, we'd greatly appreciate it to get your feedback on, so we know where we should be focusing moving forward. And then Brenda's going to present on counseling and down payment loan programs.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'll pass these around. Like Marcia said, I am the housing loan officer, along with Wade Betzlin in Sisseton. So I represent the housing, counseling, and down payment closing cost assistance programs and direct lending for growth. First and foremost, would be speaking on this sheet here is homebuyer coaching and education. We want our clients first, before they're even thinking about buying a home, to go through the homebuyer education and the counseling and coaching process, so that they're in the perfect position to purchase a home. When a lot of times they sometimes look at a home and think, oh, I want to buy that, but they're in no shape or situation where they can. So rather than getting a no right off the bat, we prefer to have them come to us for coaching and homebuyer education to get them ready for home ownership. That way, they can go to a banker and be ready to go. We are a HUD-approved counseling agency, also homeownership education resource organization. We do provide one-on-one counseling and in financial education, as well as homebuyer education and pre-purchase counseling. For our home loan programs, we have down payment and closing cost assistance. Right now we have 4 funding sources that we can access, and those funds are anywhere from $5,000, $7,500, $10,000, and $10,500. So depending on the service area for the down payment assistance, a couple of those are statewide. and a few of those are county-specific. So they are all income eligible. So a couple of them are, if their income is under 115% area median income, they're going to qualify for at least down payment assistance. Closing cost assistance. If their income is under 80%, then it's down payment, and then they can get the maximum up to for anything extra to down payment. One program is at 120% AMI, and the other one that we're just rolling out now is at 100% AMI, and that's $10,500. So we do ask when we speak to lenders to give us a call so we can, or email us to figure out where their property is, their client is, figure out what their income is, if they're going to be eligible for one of these programs, and a lot of times they are. And it really can get them into that home. It is a deferred loan, it's not forgivable, so they do pay that back. It's 0% interest, and it's no monthly payment. So once that home is sold down the road, or the first mortgage is refinanced, or the loan matures, that is when that loan, that down payment assistance loan is repaid. So it's, like I said, it's a good program for those that are in just a little bit of help. We do have ratio limitations for those. The housing ratio cannot be more than 29%, and the total debt ratio cannot be more than 43%. So even though if a lender says, oh, I've got an approved eligible loan through my Fannie Mae system at 45%, they're not going to be eligible for our program because we have limitations at 43 and 29. We do also provide direct lending through our through Grow South Dakota. So if, for instance, that mortgage banker cannot do that, be able to approve the loan for that client due to parameters. Maybe they're self-employed, they don't have a 2-year history, or commission income, they don't have 2-year history. They've got some credit issues. Maybe they had a bankruptcy, and it's been 2 years, but Fannie Mae says it has to be 3 years. They can refer those loans to us, and we can take a look at them, and a lot of times maybe we can do the deal. In the meantime, our program is going to be on a 7-year balloon, and they have to refinance within that 7 years. So maybe then they can go back to their banker and get that loan refinanced with them at the end, once they have their credit in line and income in line, and they meet all the parameters for the guidelines. We also do home buyer, or USDA Rural Development direct loan packaging. So we are an approved direct packager for rural development under direct financing. Any questions on any of this?
No, does anybody have questions? Good information, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you again for your time today. We hope that you will consider Grow in your funding for this upcoming year. This year, I think we've asked for $5,000. Typically, we use your support for the emergency services for Brown County, for households that find themselves in emergency situations or small repair items that we can help them with. So, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come visit us this morning.
Thank you, and thank you for your past support. We appreciate your partnership and support as we deliver our program. So.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we've got a resolution to dissolve the James River Valley County District. Did everybody get a chance to review that resolution? Any discussion or changes needed?
I'll move it.
Motion from Sutton.
Second.
Second from Feldheim. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
We decided which one we're gonna join officially or not, or they have to let us or what?
Well, I think we had talked
We've kind of decided it's gonna be
informally.
Lake Region. Is
Right.
that called Lake Region? Is that what it's
Lake
called?
Region, correct.
Maybe since we're running a little behind, we'll do that later. We'll hear theirs first. Next on the agenda, we have Kyle Oswald to discuss BMX lease. Kyle, are you with us? There he is. Good morning, how are ya?
Good.
Good. Hey.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good to see you guys.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, you too,
Well, you guys all had a copy of the lease. Did you get that from?
Has anything changed? Did we get something new, or is it?
There was 2 changes to it as far as
Just on the wording on?
Okay.
I think it was just on one part we just,
40 feet to 35
Yep.
feet, and
And
then
Oh.
then the building deal, where we could take it down or whatever when the lease is done, so.
So then if the building comes down,
Thank you.
it would just be put back into the, how it was, so there wasn't
Correct,
like...
Yeah.
correct, yep.
just a revision in there that something should be done with it, whether it gets tore down or given to the county, however it, needs to
Correct.
be.
If you guys didn't want it, then we would, or if we wanted to
Yeah.
move it, we could, and if you wanted it, you could, or we'd take it down, whichever option works.
That way, if it did get down to it, you guys aren't stuck with having to demo something if it came down to that.
There was a couple of things in here Larry had mentioned we may want to discuss.
Did you want Ernest just to kind of walk through a couple of the concerns?
Yeah, that would be great.
But the first thing that I have highlighted, if you look at paragraph 2,
Maybe you should give them a copy. Do they have a copy?
I got it on my phone, and my phone's in my truck, that's why it doesn't ring.
Just give mine all.
Oh, you
You can share this one then.
Okay.
this isn't necessarily a concern, just on the last one, we wanted something that gave us more of an option. And if you'll notice there, it's been changed to giving the county the ability to object within the notice period on the renewals. The next area that's highlighted is on paragraph 5, concerning assignment. The first sentence in that paragraph says, "This agreement cannot be assigned by BMX without consent of the county." Then it goes on to say, however, if BMX were to transfer, assign, or sell any of its interest to a successor nonprofit entity, the county will not unreasonably deny any assignment or transfer of this agreement. It
Contradicts each other a little bit?
contradicts a little bit if you look down on paragraph 8. It's binding on successors and assigns. So one, it says it cannot be assigned without consent, then puts a burden on us without it being defined on unreasonably denying such a assignment or transfer, and it binds the parties to it for the length of the lease. It's an ambiguous language that is somewhat confusing and
We just take it out.
Take out the second sentence?
Yeah.
Does that fix
that's
it?
my recommendation.
On number 5 there?
Yeah.
Just take out that highlighted section there.
Is that okay with you guys? Starting at however?
I was thinking the first sentence should cover everything on that.
Yeah. There's a big,
Yeah.
yeah, we can just take that out. I mean, it does contradict the first
Yeah,
sentence, doesn't it?
it does.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so we
take
can
that
just...
out.
Joe can.
This says you cannot do it, and it says
Says you
you have to
can't.
do it.
Now, if we look at paragraph 6, first issue on this paragraph is about the middle of the paragraph. It starts, any lien, if any lien is filed without a valid defense, then said lien shall be a violation of this agreement. The problem with that is it doesn't tell you what that means. Violation of the agreement, does it terminate the agreement? Does it cancel the agreement? Or is it just a violation of the agreement and the agreement survives?
With no repercussion.
It doesn't say.
Right.
It says it's a violation, but it doesn't say what that violation triggers, if anything at all.
And I guess that what the state's attorney's office needs to know from the commission as a matter of policy is, do you want additional language that says there's a violation, then the county has the option of terminating the contract, or terminating the lease, or if you want something lesser than that in there. So that's something you guys will have to discuss and decide what you wanna do.
Okay.
And then the last part of this paragraph is what was being discussed before. It's a little different than what's been previously discussed at the council meetings here, giving BMX the ability to remove buildings and improvements, and given time for them to remove it upon termination. What is missing here is anything after that. If BMX elects to remove it, what our concern is, the county gets stuck with a big hole. It's silent as far as returning it to a pre-construction condition or anything like that.
And that's kind of what you were implying.
Right,
And it's just
but it's not
in the
worded in
agreement,
here.
yeah.
So, should we put in that, in the wording that it should be left in pre-construction condition?
If the county chooses for us to tear down the buildings, there's nothing else that's down in the ground out there except for that.
Yeah.
Well, the option is on you guys to decide whether or not you want to keep the building, not the county.
Right, correct,
So
correct,
the
yeah.
county doesn't have anything to say about that, but the county would probably want it back in
Back to-
the condition it was in.
Correct.
If you
Yep.
elect to remove any building or improvement, that it'll be returned to a pre-construction state or something along those lines. That way, the county doesn't get stuck with a big
Right.
hole to clean up.
Pre-construction.
And again, just the last paragraph that I highlighted was paragraph 8. We've already talked about that in its relation to paragraph 5.
So then what we need to do is, also as far as that, say that if there's a lien, I mean, if a lien is filed without valid defense, then said lien should be a violation of this agreement. What are the repercussions? I can't see us ever having a lien filed, but what would the repercussions?
Should we just throw in there the language which gives the county option to terminate the lease? Would that fix it, you think?
Well, that would give the county at least that option.
Right.
And something
Yeah.
less than that option would
Then
be
give us discretion.
negotiable too.
I don't foresee it happening either, but
No.
is that
No.
fair with you guys?
I think that should be fine.
So if we have a lien filed, then the county at that time doesn't say you're gonna, but
No.
you can't give you that option.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Gives us-
Should make that one of the options.
Okay, so let's go.
And then once we made the fix to 5, it's 8 is fine, right?
Correct.
As is, okay.
Yep.
So for example, if BMX changed their legal structure as far as going from one sort of corporation to another or whatever, they would just be a successor and it would just flow. It wouldn't be an assignment to somebody else, it would just be a change in there.
So then the highlighted one on paragraph 2, upon BMX given county, what was that highlighted for? Was there a concern there?
There was
or-
not a concern, that was just highlighting a change that had been requested, and I was
Okay.
highlighting that to point out that that change had been put in, giving us the approval or objection
Okay,
option during the notice period. No real objection, just highlighting it, that change had been made.
okay.
So in 20 years, you're gonna have to remember to give us 60
60
days
days.
notice. 'Cause
And that'll have to go
Right?
in,
we don't have to remember it, they'll give us notice.
give us notice, right? Put that on your calendar.
Your phone go that far ahead?
Tom, make a note of that.
That will still be here.
That will still be here.
Well, do we need to get a clean copy before moving on this, or does anybody have questions, comments, concerns on what we're doing?
I think I'd like to see a corrected,
Okay.
updated form
Yeah,
before we
yeah.
approve
Before we
it.
approve, I
And I
wanna see
think
it.
they would too, I mean, that way
Yeah.
we're knows what
Yeah.
we're signing, you
Same
know.
page.
Everything's clean.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, what we'll do is we'll take it back to Jay, have him make those corrections and email it over to you, and then we'll just try to get on next week's agenda, if that's all right.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Appreciate
working
it.
on that.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Get
it.
closer.
Can I take the one I made no time?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we've got the sheriff's department to discuss bonus day pay. Are you folks with us?
Yep. Sheriff's out there.
We do, Laura. full force.
Bunch of hot stuff.
Yeah.
Good morning, how's it going?
Morning.
Hey.
Well, pretty good. How about you guys?
We're doing well.
So who's watching the fort?
You watching the fort? I don't come on duty until about 10 o'clock, so.
Some guy came in for a pistol permit, he said we'd be right.
Yeah, just watch us for a sec.
Well, my name is Brandon Mills. I've been a correctional officer for about 5 years in the Crown County Jail. With Kathy, Jesse, Tom, Mark. We just came to discuss the bonus day policy that just came out, I believe, the last commission meeting. Currently, this affects 13 people in the jail that basically are left out, since it is technically their regular scheduled day off. And we're just wondering if that is the how you guys want it, because essentially the jail working 24/7, 365 are people that work different schedules. We don't work normal Monday through Friday 8 to 5. So it is generally, there are people that do a regular scheduled day off, even if technically they may work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or some combination of that. They just may end up having that Friday off.
And is it always the same people?
As of right now, yes, unless someone is to leave and then their position be filled. But there should, as of right now, as the schedules work out, there was 13 people that it would always affect, unless the schedules change.
Did you receive my email explaining this?
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, this is how it's always been done. Being compensated the hours that they have worked, or their scheduled hours has been added on. And it's gone back to at least 2010. And I brought up your meeting report, and in holiday closing, you specified each employee will be compensated for 8 hours of regular pay or /10 like the correctional officers.
On a holiday,
On a holiday.
the 10 holidays.
And then you, correct. But in the past, when you gave us like Black Friday off,
As a bonus day.
correct. And you would decide that like the beginning of November, this is how it has been done. And then just all of a sudden, this last holiday, they said, no, it's not. So it's been, this policy has been gone back to at least 2010, if not further. You even did it for Black Friday in November. But that's how it was handled.
So in Black Friday, those folks that it affected got paid for Friday?
No.
Or they did not?
They got their 8/10 hours added onto their vacation.
Vacation, okay.
They didn't get paid.
Not compensated, they got additional vacation hours.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And the people that worked just got regular pay plus those hours added onto their vacation. So that's basically just all we're asking, that the people that's a regular day off have the 8/10 hours added onto their vacation.
Sure. And what were you saying, something with Sundial?
That was a Sundial issue last year in November that still hadn't been corrected yet.
Any questions? Anybody else want to talk?
You know, other than it's just, you know, we kind of have a unique pot over there. We have things that nobody else can do, or we can't ask anybody to do. And I hate to think that I'm gonna, if my days off are always Thursday, Friday, that I'm gonna be 2 days short simply because of the luck of the draw of my assigned days off. You know, and we try and treat everybody as fair as we can over there. You guys have been great as far as, we've never had any concept of, oh, you know, it's a female, so we're gonna pay this person less, or, you know, it's like, it's by classifications. Everything has always been very strict, very even, and we're just trying to look to keep it, you know, if Kathy gets 12 days compensation for holidays, Brandon has a Friday off, suddenly he gets 10, it just doesn't seem fair, and that's all we're trying to do is ask to address that.
Sure.
Essentially, we're just asking as full-time employees just the same benefits that the majority of the courthouse gets, you know,
Sure.
as all county employees.
And would you prefer to see it paid, or would you prefer to see it vacation?
I guess it's always been vacation, and that's kind of how, you know, we kind of plan out our year. You know, essentially, maybe I kind of plan on that vacation for later on down the road.
Sure. Any questions from the commission? Well, looks like we'll take another look at it then. I appreciate you guys coming in. Any other comments from you guys?
Well, then, we do appreciate the bonus days. I mean, there's many employers that don't need to do that. You know, so the 2 bonus days that you give us
Yes,
are a
very much
gift.
appreciated.
They really are.
And we've had that discussion before every time, you know, when summer comes around and we go into budget discussions, that we wish we could give you guys more of a raise, but because our hands are bound by what we're allowed to raise our budget by, this is one of those things that we can do to show you, hey, we appreciate everything you guys do. I know we don't, you know, we pay the best we can, but it's not always the greatest, so we appreciate you guys bringing this forward, and we'll discuss it again and see what we can't figure out, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
for your time.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep, thank you.
Do you guys want to continue that discussion, or do you want to give it some thought? Any other discussion on it for now? It was something with Sundial, you said?
From years ago, that was before your policy was even in place, and you were treated, at that, in those earlier years, it was treated more as a holiday, not as a bonus day. That was just, those were last-minute decisions that you would say, like she said, early November, you would say, well, we'll give you the Friday after Thanksgiving off, and it was treated more as a holiday versus a bonus day. When you came in and decided on giving bonus days, that's apparently when that changed, how it was treated, how it was written.
So what made it change now that they're coming forward to us?
Nothing except the fact that they realized that they weren't getting the vacation, those 10, 13 employees weren't getting the vacation for that bonus day because it was corrected in the Sundial system and treated as a bonus day versus a holiday.
Other questions?
There's one, huh?
So would that fix it if we did, one of the suggestions that was brought up was doing, instead of saying, hey, this is your bonus day, is giving everybody 1 or 2 bonus days and they use it whatever day they want.
Well, I'm not in favor of paying it. After they work their 40 hours and they get a paycheck, I'm not in favor of paying that. You either need to carry it forward as a vacation day or else, you know, because it's gonna cost the county for 13 employees for that day, you know, and that affects our budget where if they take an extra day of vacation, we're at least not putting funds out. So, you know, and if they had it, there was times it sounded like she was reading off that that's the way it was. I guess I'm confused, why did it all of a sudden go away? I mean,
That actually was the way it was, where they just got a bonus day and nobody got paid. It's just, it was fair for everybody.
It just added into their vacation hours?
Yeah, just put 8 hours in for the office and Debbie's with 10 hours for the jail. You guys remember that, I think. Like Maxine.
So then we stay open those days and not call it a bonus day?
That's
That's the question, are you gonna have an office, everyone's gonna choose that day? Then who are you gonna have run that office?
Yeah.
I don't understand where you're going. Okay,
Bonus day is like-
if you're just gonna give them a bonus day, and let them choose which day they wanna use it, instead of, let's say, Friday after Thanksgiving. Well, what if you and your staff all decide you're gonna use that as their bonus day, that they're gonna choose, that they can choose when to use it?
You
have
couldn't,
no one in your office.
you couldn't at that point, if
I know,
that's the way it
so
has
you
been.
got, it's kind of a difficult
Well, the department
situation.
head's gotta
How are you gonna do that?
agree to let them use
I mean,
it.
I did mention to Doug, where I worked previously, used to have something that was called a floating day.
Yeah.
And you were allowed to take it whenever you chose. You could, that'd be one option, that you could do 1 or 2 floating days, but still, it comes down to, yeah, then if you're open as an office, you gotta obviously have a certain amount of people here also.
We're there every day anyway.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to
you are, but a lot of these departments
Then
are
you have
not.
2-man offices too, you know, you gotta, you know.
See, in past years, employees or whoever would come before the commission and ask for the Friday after Thanksgiving off. And several years ago, the commission, rather than making the employee, not making them, but
Waiting for them.
having them come in, you decided, okay, January, we'll set the days,
Because they wanted to know ahead of time.
so that the employees could know ahead of time. I don't see how that would have changed how we had always done it, just because the days are set in
We picked in
January.
January instead of November, yeah.
We're still doing the same days off.
Yes.
We just determined it in January instead of as they come along.
Correct.
It seemed to make sense, and I think it still does.
So I'm
So
confused
nothing's
as to
changed.
why,
Well, I think the issue is those 13 people are only getting 10 days, and the rest of the county's getting 12, and I think you just equalize that out. Whether you go back to the original plan and specify the days, or, I mean, that's where the
That's
issue
what
is.
Max is saying though is.
Why did it
Why did it change from being treated as a holiday, a bonus holiday versus a bonus
no.
A bonus day, no?
No.
Because that's what changes how it gets processed.
Okay, when you were talking about setting them in January, I suggested, rather than adding them to your list of 10 holidays, to call them a bonus day so they're separate, so no one could interpret them as, in the policy, as a true holiday.
But that's what they're doing, and that's
No,
what they
it
said.
isn't.
That is what they're doing, because that's how they were
No,
treated
on a holiday, you
since
get time and a
2010.
half if you work, or you get 8 hours. On a
Yeah,
bonus
you
day,
get the
if you
8
got the
hours.
day off, you just get 8 hours.
Right.
It's not costing you much. It's 13 people it affects, and I think it's
I
fair
don't
because then
But it's being
So-
treated as a holiday.
So your
Just calling them a
recommendation is to
bonus
give
day.
8 extra hours to the 13 people for their vacation?
Yeah, just like
Both.
everybody else has. It's just banked in their vacation, they can take another day off another day.
And if they're always have that bonus day off, but if it's one that they scheduled their hours working to create that day,
They're not doing that. We don't do it that way. I mean,
it's, every
they're
year it's the
scheduled.
same thing.
Yeah, and it's, it's 7 days, 24/7, so it's, like you said, only 13 people.
That
and
was
it's just
Max,
giving the 8
what
hours
changed
or
it?
10 hours, and they just get another day off sometimes. It's fair that way.
How
I
did
think.
they not get it?
They don't get it then.
Good Friday.
I mean, the thing with me is I understood that part of it, but then when they came to me, it says, well, if you work this Monday through Friday, you get 12 times off. But if you work Sunday to Thursday, you only get 10 off. And I'm going like, yeah, that makes sense, where everybody should just be equal and get the 12 days. It's not you're not giving time and a half or anything, you're just giving them the 8 hours to book into their vacation, or the 10 hours you work each day. So that way they get a day off like everybody else does.
So Kathy in the office never works like Friday?
They'll get the day, they'll be just like anybody else, and if Friday is, they get the day off.
It's jailers, deputies.
It's people that work.
Okay, I was wondering why Kathy
Not
was there,
the
because I was trying to
admin.
think.
Because everybody, she was the office manager, they came up there and asked her.
Okay.
And then they asked me, I said, well, you need to go talk
That's
to the
fine.
commission, how you feel about it.
I was trying to figure
Especially
out
for
how the
Brandon,
office.
But we have not changed the policy from what Kathy read.
Yes, you have. This last
How they're
policy,
treated.
the last policy you changed basically discriminated against those 13 employees whose normal work week, their normal weekend is 2 different days than Saturday and Sunday. Correct?
Yep, I mean,
So when was that policy changed?
Last week.
Last week.
Unintended
Well,
consequences.
I still think I was quite on the same page now.
Well,
I
it's
didn't
because
hear that.
they wanted to specify what was going on payroll, because that was the question that came up.
So we could even it out by giving 8 vacation hour to these 13 people.
it'd be the same, yeah.
Yeah, same as everybody else is getting.
Same as everybody else?
So just can we amend put our old policy back in place, because that's,
Well,
What?
that's not all it did. There was more in it.
well, but I think that part needs to be changed, because
I think that
Because
part
that's where
needs to
the
change,
question
to
came
fair it
up,
out.
is that these people already have their 40 hours in, bonus days on Friday when they're off, and so, on the payroll side, she needed
was
to
added.
specify, and it was asked for clarification on if those people get vacation or not, because they already have their time in, but they do, like Mark said, the issue is that since that is their day off, they don't get the 2 extra bonus days, because they've already put their time in. And if you wanna add them, give them 2 more days of vacation, that's your choice.
And the other ones are just lose a day of pay.
No, the other ones just get
We
the day
just
off.
get paid, we
They
just
get
get
the day
paid,
off.
a paid day off without getting any vacation added, so everybody...
But they're not getting a paid day.
Right.
No,
they're just
because
getting
they already had
vacation
their
hours.
40 hours in, yeah.
It's basically, some get 10, some get 12.
Right.
Because that happens to be their day off.
Yeah, that's what they, when they came to me, and that's why I said, well, you know, we need to go with the commission.
Should we change the language to say, if it is your regularly scheduled day off, the bonus day will be compensated as 8 additional vacation hours?
Yeah, you could, if that's
Yeah.
what
That's the way it
you
should
choose
be
to
done.
do, you
If
could
it's
say
their regular,
that.
as long as you have it as their regular.
Or
That
8 or
would
10?
10 for the jail, 'cause they do 4
10,
days.
okay. So the bonus
I
day
appreciate that.
will be compensated.
Everybody's getting 10 hours and some people only get 8.
They work 10, and then
They work
rest of them
4
work
10-hour
8.
shifts. It's their day.
Okay,
That works.
is there a motion on that?
Move it.
Moved by Feldheim,
Second.
second by Sutton. Any questions on what we're doing? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Not till next week.
Don't ask. Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Well,
Thank you, Gary.
Not a problem.
Thanks, Sheriff. Next on the agenda, we've got Carol Sherman, Registered Deeds, on, update online documents. Carol, how's it going?
On our way in.
Good morning. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
We just wanted to give you a little update on our online document
Is it rolling
program.
smooth?
It's going forward.
Okay.
But we did not meet our May 1st deadline.
Okay.
But, because we just decided to change a few things.
Who gave you the deadline?
Huh?
Who gave you the deadline?
Well, it really wasn't a deadline. Cole said by May 1st, we should be up and running and alive and all this, but there's always things that you need to change or just not quite right. But, so anyway, we anticipate now, for sure, by the end of May, and our little problem now is figuring out how to pay for the document copy fee. Cole seems to think that we should go through PayPal, and then when Roberta talked to Paul yesterday afternoon, he brought up the option of why not just go with GovTeller? And that would be a whole lot easier for Sheila and for our office as far as the bookkeeping and keeping track of things. They can search the site for free. There'll be no charge for searching. And if they search by name, legal description, date, and what else?
Pretty much the date of the document, the legal description, the name.
And then they'll get a page that'll bring up what they're searching for. But if they want to look at that document, we're thinking that we would need to charge an access fee if they want to look at the document and print the copy of the document. If we didn't have any access fee, they could bring up the documents and take a copy of it right off the screen. And there would go our $1 a page by law. And companies could just come in and just take whatever they want off our site. So we need some way to protect that. And so we thought of maybe an access fee, either daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly.
So it's not by page, it's by time frame?
For the access fee.
Okay.
The page.
It's set?
That is set by
Okay.
statute at $1 a page. per document.
So your question is whether to go through GovTel or PayPal, or is that,
Well,
GovTel
I'm
is gonna
just-
be better, is what you're saying?
GovTeller will
GovTeller
be
would be better.
Okay.
because they are fee negative, which means that the customer is charged the fee.
Right.
And right now, that's what we use in our office. If you come and you want to purchase copies with your debit or credit card, and then the customer is charged the access fee. The problem with PayPal is that it's not a set dollar amount and it's not a set percentage. It's 2.5% of the purchase plus 30 cents. So, if you purchase a one-page document, which is $1, you're gonna pay 2 cents for the 2.2% plus 30 cents. So you're gonna pay 32 cents, and they charge that to the vendor, not to the customer. So instead of getting our $1, we're only gonna get 68 cents. So you're at 32 cents. But if you buy a 10-page document, then your 2.2% is 22 cents plus 30, so it's gonna cost 52 cents. So now you're at 5.2%. So it's never gonna be a constant dollar amount or a constant percentage. And to figure that out between our office and the treasurer's office, they need to know, why am I only getting 68 cents? Where's the rest of the money?
Fair tickets all over again.
Exactly.
GovTel makes sense.
So are you asking for a recommendation on what the access fees are, or do you have that set, or what you want to do?
We kind of have some numbers, in mind. We thought, $5 a day, $50 a month, and $300 for a yearly subscription.
Kind of following the Beacon way in a way, right? And I agree, that makes more sense.
And these we will do manually. You can't purchase
Right.
the access or subscription, whatever you want to call it, online. You have to contact our office. And then we will take your payment, assign the username and password, which will expire when your subscription expires.
Are you gonna add the tax or back the tax out?
No, we're gonna add the tax. I'm making it a taxable line item. Because the subscription is a taxable item, so they'll be taxed 6.5%.
Is that $5, is that worth your time to do? Should that one be upped?
Well, this is only for a day, correct?
For 24 hours.
But I mean,
And
they-
regardless of whether they do it now, you still have to go through the same procedure. Now you're only getting your bucks all.
Right, and we
So
gotta
that's all
write a
online,
receipt.
though,
We have to
getting the
write a
box. This-
receipt, and you have to do all that
this one, they
stuff.
physically have to do the work. You take the call, you take the
Yep.
information, you take the
And
credit card.
we
you
write a
process-
receipt, I agree, it's $5.
I think I would up the daily one just because of your time in it.
Just think of what the hourly fee is and kind of go from there. It's because it costs us to write those receipts.
Maybe $10, huh?
The other ones I'm fine with, because at least you're getting something, but $5, it's not, I don't know that that's worth. Just my thought.
Okay,
No, I
so,
agree.
what,
10 maybe?
10? Yeah,
So then it'd be, Ken, what was the week?
We didn't have a week. We
Yeah,
had
a month.
30 days was $50.
Okay,
And
that makes more
annually
sense.
was
300. That was the interesting.
sounds good. Do you guys want to, do you want us to make a motion and approve the recommendation, or do you need that, or what?
I've always had to have it in
Okay.
the commission when we do a fee.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve those three fees,
I'll
$10
move it.
for a day, 50 for a month, 300 for annual, moved by Hanson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sutton. Any other discussion on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other stuff coming up on that?
When we go live with this, the e-filing then will also be kind of hand in hand, so people will be able to begin filing their documents electronically with our office. But we really haven't gotten the details of that. They're kind of hooked together. We have seen the website, and it's very user-friendly.
Yeah, very user-friendly, I think. Good.
Sounds good. Any other questions? Anything for us?
That's all I have.
Sounds like you got
If
this,
have questions.
got the bull by the horn here. Good job.
We're working on it, yep. We'll also have a disclaimer on the website. So that Brown County will be liable for.
And Larry has approved
And
that,
Larry
and
has.
made some additions to
Yep,
it, so.
and we've made those corrections.
Were you able to get them to build the website, so you have to, before you go forward, you click to acknowledge that you've read it and
Oh,
understand it?
Yes.
Well, we requested it, when we see it later this week, it should be working. They say that was not a problem.
Good.
And it tells the fees in advance, the
It does.
website,
Yes.
because that's always a big item for.
Yep.
Yep, that'll be on before they can go any further as far as searching for documents.
Terrific. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you, ladies.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time. Next on the agenda, we got Dirk Rogers, right away from Northern Electric. Dirk, are you with us?
He is.
You bet.
Morning, Dirk.
How are you?
Good, good.
Right away.
Yep, I don't know how you wanna do them. They're all Northern Electric, they're all in the same vicinity up there. Incidentally, we pulled in to start laying asphalt, and they pulled in to start doing utilities, another well-coordinated effort by everybody, but, there are four different locations, but they're all within a few miles of each other, and they're all Northern Electric, so I don't care how you wanna do it, if you wanna do them separate.
Were they gonna come with this prior to you seeing them already in the right of way? Or is that what triggered these coming?
Well, one of them is triggered it coming, but the rest of them are, no, they're just bores and stuff. There's nothing snaky here, it's just, our county's a little bigger than Rhode Island, and we go out on day one and run into somebody right off the bat, that's all. They're all up here on 14 and, County Road 3 and 5. This one's a bore, 1 mile north of, Road 5. It's just going through the road. This one's 14 and 3, it's right over here. It's just a 100-foot bore. And these are all electrical. This one's right on the other side of the intersection right there. This one is just north of the intersection. Basically, they're boring all the way around that intersection and one up here. And then the last one is, right away I asked them to give me, that's the one I said, even though you guys, they were just updating infrastructure on most of what they were doing just doing maintenance on existing lines, so it wasn't a new utility, but I said like right-of-way occupancy, because you guys are sitting there occupying the right-of-way right now, and asked them to start doing that in the future, so even if they're not adding a new utility, they're out occupying the right-of-way while they're doing the work. And it also, when someone calls and goes, hey, what's Northern Electric doing? We have some idea what they're doing, so. There's no problems with any of them, I'd recommend them for approval.
Moved by Fishback,
Second.
second by Sutton. Questions on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I got a travel thing I'm
Motion
gonna
carries.
give you, because, travel request, I'm just gonna, instead of emailing it to you, because I had to attach some stuff to it and I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
You bet.
Anything else pertinent, or the rest can wait?
Rest can wait.
All right, next on the agenda, John McQuillan, Communication Director, discuss personnel. Morning, John, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Great.
Good.
I'm guessing by personnel, do we need exec for that, or not much?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel. Moved by Feldheim, second by Fishbeck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll be in executive session for personnel.